Good evening, everybody. Crypto Strang here. This evening I talk about AMP. I briefly mentioned it the other day. Now, up to about 6 weeks ago, I didn't really look much into it, but then I started reading up on it, and literally last week I bought myself a nice bag of AMP. It's when I've looked more in depth into the project, I really can see the potential for general usage. It's certainly a project to keep on your radar. Obviously, as always state, it's not financial advice. It's entirely up to you. Quite a few people now are getting quite sceptical about getting into new projects because they believe we're going into a bear market very soon. Who knows when that will happen, if it will happen. The way crypto is progressing, who knows if we'll have a bear market. And I certainly hope it's not as brutal as 2018. So AMP, it's ranked 41 at the moment on the charts. Their market cap is basically 2.35 billion. So 46% of the supply out there. But say when you go through the whole project as a whole, you see the huge potential for it. Now, at the moment, it's 5.5 cents, up 12% in the last 24 hours. We actually reached 12 cents back in June, but I believe, really, in hindsight, should have read up and found this project about 6 months ago. November last year was 0.0007. So when you look at the price now, obviously it's had a massive growth and it's doing actually fantastic. What a wonderful year they're having. But I believe, personally, this is, again, it's a long-term hold for me. I think as they develop and as we go through what the project is about, you'll see the huge potential for this project. So you can get it on many exchanges. On Gate, we speak back a lot, don't we? It's a very good exchange. Bittrex, Crypto.com, Hotbit, Polynex, and it reached Coinbase beginning of June. And obviously that was a massive news for the project. So basically, sum up, AMP is basically describes themselves as like a new digital collateral token offering instant verifiable assurances for any kind of value transfer. Basically, if you use app, networks like Flexa can quickly and irreversibly secure transactions for a wide variety of asset-related use cases. Now, we talk about Flexa. Now, originally when Flexa come out, this is what they call themselves, Flexa Coin. Okay, but what happened is Flexa tied up with Consensys. Now, we spoke about Consensys a lot. Huge company, get involved with some wonderful projects. So basically, Flexa Coin, Flexa, combined with Consensys to create this AMP. And you can see there on CoinMarket, the Flexa Coin FXC, it no longer exists because it is AMP. But when you go on the website, it's so much information on the frequently asked questions and through the whole site itself. It goes through there exactly what it is. How does AMP work? AMP offers a straightforward but exceptionally versatile interface for verifiable collateralization through the system, collateral partitions and managers. So basically what it is, they want to go away from the way we do transactions at the moment, where we've got the Visa, your MasterCard, your American Express, you've got people in between. There's so much people, sort of intermediaries, isn't there? And even when we talk about crypto debit cards, speak about a lot, don't we? Crypto.com, WIREX, etc. They're still using a payment processor like Visa and MasterCard for their debit cards. Now, what they want to do with AMP, with Flexa, with their app, which is now becoming huge. I've seen some reports about the daily transactions of Flexa, absolutely huge, used all over America, which is no mean feat considering their laws out there, very strict. And actually, AMP itself comes from New York, which is probably the most restrictive part of America from what we've heard. But what they want to do with AMP, basically when you do a transaction, you're going to stop the fraud, transaction costs, the fees, and the processor costs, and what you use the AMP as collateral. So anytime you do a transaction, but where now you've sort of got the bank as your backup and the bank lose billions, don't they, and all these fees and fraud, etc., where AMP is your processor. So technically, if you've got, hit by fraud or something like that, the AMP is the token that is basically going to sort of protect yourself and, you basically lose your AMP token. That's the sort of downside to it, but you're seeing the potential of the project, that's what it's backed by. Again, we talk about projects with genuine use case and general usage. Now, it doesn't come more genuine than that, does it? So, but as I say, what they want to do is basically want to offer a straightforward but versatile interface of verifiable collateralization. But basically, it puts the AMP supports a wide variety of use cases, and it basically also wants to stop the merchant costs for electronic payments. And this is what ideally what blockchain crypto is for, isn't it? That's the whole point. That was the main part of it, And Flexa's instant payment authorizations are made possible with the AMP network's native token, which was co-developed by Flexa and Consensys as a fixed supply. It's an ERC20 token, works as a crowdsourced collateral to completely decentralize the payment risk, as we said. Rewarding those who provide collateral with even more AMP tokens for every successful payment transaction. Okay, so you constantly using your AMP. So anyone can stake AMP towards apps on the Flexa crypto network. It's got all the information here. Where can I buy AMP? We talked about the exchanges. Have the AMP token contracts been audited? Yes, they're audited by Consensys diligence. Obviously, they would if they're getting into the project. It states there in July and August 2020, the AMP smart contracts and related collateral management contracts were ordered by Trail of Bits. Over the course of 6 weeks, Trail of Bits researchers identified 0 critical issues. So when we talk about fraud, riskier tokens, they couldn't find any issues and shared one low severity finding and recommendation which has since been acknowledged. See, there you see how solid and secure this project is. So when you actually go on AMP 101, which basically gives a whole overview of the project, very informative, what makes AMP unique and facilitates instant verifiable assurances for any pending or future value transfer. AMP is also asset agnostic. AMP's feature set is universally compatible with any form of value transfer, digital or physical, and therefore can be used to facilitate instant, irreversible transactions. How does AMP work? At the core of the AMP collateral model is the concept of collateral partition. Partitions represent subsets of AMP tokens that provide collateral for particular purposes. So you can see the AMP token is completely governed and part of the ecosystem that governs all the transactions, which makes it again unique. Now, when you look at the white paper, a lot of stuff, it's actually 2 years ago, so some of it's changed obviously about the Flexa coin. It's not, in fact, it's now AMP. It states there, even back in 2019, with cryptocurrency transactions exceeding $20 billion each day, it's a simple amount of time before digital commodities become a central part of global commerce. And yet cryptocurrency's collectible value remains particularly unusable in physical retail, which is true, isn't it? The solution to blockchain payments. That's why they developed the Flexa network as an open standard that enables instant cryptocurrency payments in stores and online. People using it all the time. Now, this is the bit where I found absolutely fascinating about the project, apps with Flexa. Where basically, as we move forward, I think we'll become a cashless society within a few years. I know they've already got out things in Sweden now, I believe. It's already like basically a cashless society. I think that's where we come. Everything will be on your phones, etc. Now look at the apps already with Flexa. The whole ecosystem of apps use Flexa to enable instant, pure digital payments for their users. You can see there, it's better than Gemini. I've heard about that a lot. CoinList, CoinMe, buy digital assets, store assets securely. So it's a lot of information, okay? You can really see how all these apps are using Flexa and use AMP and the potential for AMP to keep growing. Now, people talk about prices all the time. Obviously, it's had a massive sort of 8 months really since its low of November 2020. As this continuously develops, and you think of the market cap now, what they've got coming, continued partnerships. Let's hope one day we'll reach that magic dollar and beyond. And that's what I strongly believe. We think about Coty, other projects, we do payment systems, but this really does look an absolute wonderful project, all the different apps. Now, also the different currencies, the digital ones, accept payments digitally in your customer's choice of currencies. Now, obviously, they're using stable coins, USD, DAI, Gemini, and Cello dollar. Okay, so that's the supported digital dollars. So again, it's bringing cryptocurrency mainstream. And the fact it's in America, I think it really is, really good. I think it's fantastic that, the UK is going a similar way the America was with the restrictions on cryptocurrency. It's great to see projects still developing. And as I say, when you're doing like an overview of what AMP do, they're basically trying to restart how transactions are processed. AMP tokens are used as collateral, as I say, but if it's a bad transaction, obviously you lose your AMP. But what they've done with their security levels, the fact that an audit couldn't find any security problems, this is an absolute secure way of sending money. This will save retailers, the merchants, so much money, get rid of all those billions in fraud, etc., which get wasted every year. So it's a real, absolute solid project. So certainly one to keep your eye on. Now, also like various Medium pages, we talk about all the different partnerships creating. It states there, retailers connected to in-com payments can now enable simple, fast, and secure payments using Bitcoin, Ether, and dozens of other digital cryptocurrencies. Again, Flexa partners with Las Vegas Lacrosse to launch new innovative protocols franchise. So it's all these partnerships. Sheets becomes the first convenience store chain to accept Bitcoin. Sheet partners with Flexa and NCR. Now you scroll through this. Now I've seen a lot of other rumours about partnerships. Let's see how it happens. So it's just so much going on. Now also the Flexa capacity. This is on the website as a link. It states there of spending capacity on the Flexa network. Absolutely huge. Okay, it states there connect your wallet. Now you can also do staking with AMP. I've only just recently, last week, got a bag of AMP. I will be staking it. Perhaps I'll do a video on that soon. Paint in some good ways. Not huge returns. I've briefly had a look. However, I do a lot of staking now on basically, decentralized places, but also on, I also do it on easy exchanges because I say that's very easy on KU Coin and Binance. but also elsewhere. It's so easy to do staking now, especially if you believe in a project long term like I do with AMP. It's great just to keep staking, keep accumulating. Now, who knows what the price would do? Who knows what if we're going to get a bear market? This price might drop massively, or it might just keep rising as they keep getting partnerships, etc. But I think this is a project with absolute longevity. And I say, you know, based in New York, you know, fintech company building the future of payments by solving the problems of friction and high payment costs for both merchants and consumers. You can see how this really can keep developing over and over again. So time will tell. You know, let's keep an eye on it. I'll certainly keep an eye on it. I say in the last sort of 6-8 weeks, we've had a very sort of stagnant market with a few drop, bit pumps down a bit. It's been very stagnant. Hopefully, you know, it's not the end of the bull market. I'm sure it's not personally. I'm very bullish on it. But also, again, follow AMP on Twitter. Look, surprisingly, got 21,000 followers basically, but they do like AMAs, etc. It'd be interesting. It'd be great if one of them come on the channel. I don't know if they're available. It'd be great. I really do believe in this project. You know, so I bought a bag last week. I think I'll be getting some more. Only time will tell. Thanks very much, guys. Anyone want any help as usual, email me, info@cryptostrain.com. All social media links below. It'd be great to hear from you. Let's keep our eyes out and see how AMP progresses. Thanks very much and have a wonderful day. Cheers now. Bye.